Hi, this is Bill Dutcher. Welcome to the fourth video in the series demonstrating the Synergy harp guitar from Emerald Guitars in Ireland. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the sub basses, both talk about the tunings that work for me, as well as right hand technique, how to develop that thumb on getting comfortable to reach over and get those strings, as well as some right hand techniques of dampening the strings. So let's take a look at the videos. I'd like to talk about the sub-bass tunings that these bass strings are tuned to. From my experience in talking to other harp guitar players, there are a couple basic avenues where people start with. For what works for me is a low F, then a G, an A B flat, a C, and a D. From there, I will change the B flat up to a B sometimes. But the way to think about this is that every key signature you can play in is either going to have sharps or flats. And you can change these pitches of these notes to accommodate a key, which will give you 6 open bass notes for whatever key you're playing in. People ask me about the technique of how you play one of these, and I found the hardest thing when I first started playing back in early 2002 when I took possession of my J. Thomas Davis harp guitar. For years you're used to playing 6 strings, and you can see my right hand here is only working with this bass thing. Most of us players that play fingerstyle, this is your range right here, but man, you have to work this in. So where do you get the muscle memory to know where your thumb is? Well, I would practice in the dark, believe it or not, at night when my kids would go to bed, and I would sit on their bed and play my harp guitar and turn off all the lights. And over time, I got to know where the sub basses were by feel. And then I started getting the confidence of how to incorporate the thumb into the chords. And to begin with, if you're looking to start this, the easiest way I can suggest to you is to, for instance, fret a C chord, and you'll downstroke on the downbeat with the bass note, then up, grabbing a portion of a C chord. And then you bounce over the 5th, the G. So you start with this technique, and then you can change chords, a D. So that's where I would start with to get the technique down. From there you can start syncopating rhythms and putting more stuff like that as you get more proficient with it. Another thing about the sub basses on a harp guitar is that they tend to resonate if you're playing the guitar side. And if I can demonstrate this, I'm running the microphone off of my MacBook here, so hopefully you're hearing this. Later in the video with the other clips, I'm using microphones and direct into an interface into the computer, so you'll hear much more signal. But if you play a chord here and mute it real quick, you can kind of hear the sub basses. You hear that? Once again. So they will sympathetically vibrate. And that's actually a cool thing. You can actually think of it as a keyboard pad sound, if you will. Because if you're just playing on this and stop that, those subs are still ringing in the background there. So that's kind of neat. But they can get away from you real quick. So what you kind of have to work on is a muting with the palm, the right palm. You can almost pick, boom, so it's, see? I'm over exaggerating here for the sake of example, but if I turn this way, watch my right hand. So that is a technique that you could also incorporate in your playing. It kind of tightens things up a little bit and the sound doesn't get all mushy and kind of rolling all over itself. When I first picked up this harp guitar, it's been about almost a week since I've had it for the road trip promotional campaign. I picked it up from another player in town here that has several of Alistair's instruments from Emerald Guitars, Mark Nowicki. I hope I pronounced that right, Mark. I literally rolled into town from a late night gig to pick it up from Mark. He just happened to be here in Phoenix, and I was the next player on the list, so it saved us having to, ship it UPS. But I was going on like 4 hours sleep and way too much coffee, so I was a little punchy, if you will. So I did make the reference in the video that you can kind of fire the bass player and buy one of these. I didn't mean that. It was just being satirical. I love bass players and play with a lot of them. So just want to make that disclaimer. But you can play what I like to call slash chords. And I might have made a reference in the previous video of compound chords, and that's actually incorrect. Compound chords is superimposing two chords over one another. A slash chord, on the other hand, is a chord. Then you see a slash sign with another letter next to it. That note is in the bass. So that's what I was referring to. In other words, if you played a C, you could put another note over that C chord, for instance, the G. So this is a C chord with a fifth in the bass. Or for instance, in the video I made with Mark, I think I made the reference to an A minor. Well, there's an A minor on the guitar neck. Yeah, you could play that A minor here. Excuse me, the A bass note over the A minor. And you get a real fat A minor sound. But if you play the F over that A minor, that could be notated A minor slash F, or in this case here, an F major 7. So you can really expand the range of tone, I'll say, the note selection, by not necessarily playing the same root note over the chord you're fretting on the guitar neck. Yeah, you could play the C, but you have other options here. That A. What's the B flat? The D. There's just a lot of different possibilities, and with the ability to change those pitches of those sub basses to accommodate any key that you want to compose in, it really sonically opens up a lot of doors to play some interesting material.